getting the damn thing going. All right, so welcome to Crinkletalk. We are here at SingleSpeed with Lee Brewer Austin, and we'll be joined by others here shortly. And how's it going today?
Very good, very good. How are you, Tim?
I'm excellent. Well, tell us a little bit about the first beer that we're drinking here.
First beer we're drinking right now is actually, it's pretty exciting. It was our first venture into the sour beers. We made a Berliner Weiss, fairly straightforward, a little bit more traditional take on it. But we were able to nail some pretty cool lactic tartness and get a nice, good gateway sour beer. Fairly exciting for us as we grow into the Waterloo location. We're actually looking to add some fooders. So while this is fairly basic on our 3-barrel system brewing a Berliner Weiss, we're pretty excited about getting an American Wild sour program rolling in the next year or so.
Nice. So you're gonna do some barrels and stuff too?
We'll just go with the fooders. They'll be 20-barrel, essentially 20-barrel large oak barrels, American White Oak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. So how long have you been with SingleSpeed?
Personally, I've been with SingleSpeed for 2.5, almost 3 years. We've been around since December 2012.
So you've got a home brewing background?
Yes,
Yeah.
just kind of homebrew gone pro.
Perfect.
Yeah, got pretty lucky. Yeah.
You guys could do a wide variety of beers here. You got your IPAs and do a lot of stouts, and really like your red IPA that you have every now and then, and the coffee brewed ×2, excellent. You have a favorite style you like doing?
That's a loaded question.
Just depends on the day.
I suppose it depends on the day. I mean, I don't have kids, but I make beer for a living. I feel like picking a favorite out of that would be just as unfair as picking a favorite child. No, generally I'd say, personally, I'd probably deviate more towards hop-driven beers. At the same time, I have no problem. We brewed a Munich Helles pretty recently. There's nothing wrong with sitting down and enjoying a couple of those. And Tip the Cow and Brewed ×2 are two really cool coffee beers that we've got. The Tip the Cow is a milk stout with cocoa and espresso that we use locally roasted sidecar espresso in. It's a pretty tasty beer too. You could drink that one for breakfast if you wanted.
Your coffee beers are really well balanced compared to a lot of them I've had. Was that a difficult process for you?
Well, like you said, it's all about balance. Like when we first started brewing the coffee beers, the first one was the Brewed ×2. We started with an American brown ale that we thought was pretty good, and then we added some really good artisanally roasted coffee. Kind of took it to the next level. At the same time, like you said, balance is the key with beers like that. Like, we wanted it to be a coffee beer, not confusing people thinking they were drinking an iced coffee. So it's a coffee brown. You get the coffee, but you still get the American brown ale, which is pretty neat with that one. And Tip the Cow is the same. We kind of describe that one as a chocolate covered espresso bean. It's really rich, creamy, full bodied milk stout that, again, you get a little bit of everything, not just the coffee.
Yeah. So when I've done coffee beers in the past, I've just brewed really strong coffee and added it to keg time.
Sure.
Is that kind of what you guys are doing, or do you have a totally different process?
Yeah, roughly I'd say it's a pretty similar process. We cold brew the coffee, so rather than doing it hot, we try the reason we cold brew it essentially is to extract all the flavor with less of the acidity from the coffee. So it with some of these coffees, it really allows like the nuances of each different roast to really shine. In the Brewed ×2 we use an Ethiopian roast. Kind of has some cool like citrus notes to it that come out in the cold brew. Different than you might get if you were hot brewing and then adding to the beer.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I think that balance is really tough to find. Most of the time I've done my coffees, I think I ended up going a little on the sweeter side. I've done Doppelbox, or I've got a milk stout that I've done with that too. So
nice.
But a couple times I think I've gone a little too sweet and got that kind of latte type thing you were describing earlier. So it's a definite skill to get that balance of beer and coffee and not go one way or the other.
One way or the other.
Yeah. I think one of the first times I ever came here, I had the brewed times 2, and it was just that first sip just hit me, and I was like, wow, these guys know what they're doing. So it made me want to try more on your menu and come back. And you got a really cool little area here, downtown Cedar Falls, and currently working on a much bigger area.
Much bigger.
In Waterloo, and going what, from 3 barrel to 20?
20, yep. So roughly 6.5 time increase in brew house size, but we're going pretty aggressive on the fermentation and cellar. Predominantly 20 barrel fermentation to start, but we'll have a couple of 40 barrel tanks in there as well, so we can double brew a batch of Victory Dance or IPA or tip the cow right into there and move some pretty serious beer volumes.
So right now you're going to start, when you get there, you're going to have a nice tap room there, obviously, and indoor outdoor area. Obviously it'll be a little difficult when you probably open it right off the bat to do outdoor.
Right.
Middle of winter in Iowa. But you're going to have food there as well?
Yeah, so the Waterloo location in general, like timeline the way it looks right now, we're hoping to get occupancy on the brew house and the brewery area of the building in late November, which would allow us to then start making some beer. But restaurant, beer hall, beer garden is probably looking like second quarter of next year.
Okay.
At this time, so hopefully when we open, you can take your choice whether you're going to be sitting inside or outside. That's the goal. Is we should be opening around time the weather starts to get nice again. Nice thing about being able to get into that brewery part of the building is more beer. More beer is always a good thing. But hopefully, with brewing 20 barrels versus 3 barrels of beer, we should be able to drop some distribution in areas that we haven't really been able to get a lot of attention to lately. But if basically anywhere where there's demand for the product within the state of Iowa, we're hoping to fill as soon as possible.
Yeah. And you're going to start off with all keg distribution first, right?
Correct. Yep. We'll do draft only for the first couple years, and then depending on how growth looks from there, we may add canning in a couple of years.
Canning seems to be the way everybody's going right now.
Yeah, it's there's so many arguments for canning versus bottling. First off, just it's better for the beer. Less light and less oxygen can get into those cans versus a bottle. And then just from a environmental standpoint, they weigh a whole lot less than a bottle does. So moving a couple pallets of bottles versus cans is hopefully going to have a smaller footprint on the environment.
Absolutely. So I brought a growler because I can't visit you guys without bringing a growler to take
Right.
home. You guys planning on doing crowlers at all?
Not at first. We'll fill a growler with just about anything. I don't know if that plan has been finalized quite yet for growlers versus crawlers, etc. But you'll be able to get beer.
That's all that matters,
Right.
really.
Priority number one. Doesn't necessarily matter the avenue, right?
So you're going to have the 3 barrel system here, and you're going to keep brewing here?
Absolutely. Yep. Our Cedar Falls location won't really change at all. Same people, same environment, same company. It's still SingleSpeed. We may brew a little bit more experimentally. Kind of test out a new hop, or if we get some wild hair and want to try a totally crazy beer, we'll start it here before hitting the 20 barrel scale. So you may be able to get some beers down in Cedar Falls that you can't get in Waterloo. At the same time, we should be able to have all the flagships that we'll be brewing over in Waterloo still on tap.
Sure.
Down here.
So that was my next question. Are you going to have a small pilot system in Waterloo, or is all pilot going to be here in Cedar Falls?
This will be our pilot system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to go get mass amount of beers, go downtown Waterloo. If you want to try something funky from the crazy mind of Austin, come here.
I suppose that's one way to look at it. Either way, you won't go thirsty at either location where we are.
Cool. Yeah. So, what else do we have on? Oh, that SOS. I saw that in the news this week. You guys made the beer. What was the article in?
Beer Advocate.
Yeah, Beer Advocate. That's right. I saw that earlier this week. You guys, they're talking about the Save the Whales, bro.
Yeah.
Over all the giant beer releases that are just starting off left and right now. And what was your inspiration for that one?
Well, I suppose it kind of started with a couple conversations. I mean, we're not saying we don't love whales. Like, there's a lot of really good beers you could stand in line for. The Save the Whales series itself is kind of a play on the entire whale concept. You know, it's I'm sure the experience of going and standing in line, getting some really rare bottles of beer is pretty cool. We just kind of want to brew something that's easy to get. It costs you $4 a pint. You can roll in the tap room and get one without a problem.
Not $20 a bottle,
right,
or 50 or 60.
Yeah, whatever it is that people are paying for beer these days, it's not a $4 session oatmeal stout.
I went from the philosophy of let's try everything we possibly can that are on those whale lists that you must have, and I'm starting to back off a little bit. But I was actually at Happy's last week, and I was looking for Death by Coconut, and they didn't get it yet.
Okay.
And he's like, "Oh no, but we just got Darkness, and you can be the first one to buy it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, why not?"
Right.
So,
twist my arm.
So when the opportunity arises, I'll still pounce on that. But
Yeah.
You know, I tried some of the bourbon counties last year. I just got lucky, and friend of a friend, and I managed to get like Proprietor and Regal Rye and
Nice.
Rare. I had Proprietor last week, and it was okay. I mean, definitely not worth the hype, but
Okay.
it was no better than their regular $10 Bourbon County. I didn't think. Maybe I'd probably prefer the regular because it didn't have some of the funkiness to it.
Okay.
But I don't know. You never know what you're going to find, I guess. So
Yeah, it's cool to try the stuff either way, especially if you just kind of come into it. But.
I saw you out about this summer at a beer fest in Des Moines. You guys doing a lot of those too, or it's kind of quieting down this time of year?
This time of year is a little bit quieter as far as beer festivals go. Say the busier time is the summer. You know, whether it's down in the Amanish at the Festival of Iowa Beers or Des Moines for the Iowa Craft Brew Festival. We love getting down to those. Those are a lot of fun. You know, especially the situation we're in right now, we don't necessarily get down to we don't get beer down in Des Moines or the corridor area yet. So it's nice to get beer down there. And then we do a lot of like local beer festivals. You know, was the first weekend in October was the Fall Endurance Festival that the Runners Flat puts on. So it's a really fun day. Like, we close off 2nd Street over here, and it's kind of just turns into a big beer garden. So they've got a 50K race, they've got a 25K and an 8K race, and then they did a couple like mountain bike races as well. That the idea was that the finish line was going to be right at the beer garden. You just come in and have a couple beers from like 10 to 9, you know, however long you want to hang out. With the flooding the last couple weeks, the finish line had to move, but everybody still came back at the end of the race and had a lot of fun. So that was a lot of fun. We had another festival, a bicycle race called the Grand Fondo. Same deal, you know, most of Main Street was closed off and just turns into a big beer garden. And it's not only the people that did the race that came in, but you know, just average Joes like me who aren't running races came down and had a couple beers and listened to some live music. So festival season in general is calming down a little bit. I think there's a couple that we're going to be doing again this winter that we always look forward to. But they're fun. It's just a change of pace.
Do you think those are good for your brand too, then, going to those? I've heard mixed feelings from different breweries on whether they pay you or don't pay you, or whether you should go or not. So
no, absolutely. I mean they're great. You know, there's a number of reasons that stuff is awesome. Just from our perspective, like, we get a chance to, you know, being brewers, we usually have to hang out with Stainless all day, but we get a chance to come out and talk to people about the product. You know, get some reactions, see what people are thinking about it, or what they know about the brand in general. In addition to that, like, most of those festivals benefit the Iowa Brewers Guild, who does a lot of work on our behalf. So there's nothing but good things that come from the festivals, in my opinion.
cool. Yeah, we saw you at the Des Moines one. What was it? The Iowa Craft Beer Fest.
Iowa Craft Beer Fest, yeah.
That was a good time.
It's fun. They squeeze 2,500 people into a little space pretty efficiently.
and add the heat.
Right.
It was one of the hottest days of the year.
It was. I thought this year was a little bit better in my opinion. I was also standing in the shade, but in contrast to being like out on the bridge, that bridge gets pretty hot, the Cordac Bridge in years prior.
Sure.
But it was also a lot hotter day that day too.
So that's got to go a ways towards you for next year when you're going to be kegging and taking them down to Des Moines, so people know who you are already. So I think that would have to be a big benefit for you.
Yeah,
people are more likely to buy something if they recognize the name or the logo.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's like, from our perspective right now, it's really cool to get beer into people's glasses who haven't had us before. But ultimately, when we've got 20 barrels of Tip the Cow, hopefully those are the people that are going to be looking for it.
Yeah. So are you at the Iowa Tap Room?
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
It will be.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Doing much collabs right now?
Well, we always, I mean, to some degree, we're always doing collaborations to an extent. We try to use local ingredients wherever possible. So like we mentioned earlier, the Brew Times 2 and Tip the Cow use Sidecar Coffee. It's just roasted a block and a half away. And then Sidecar will be in our new facility over in Waterloo. They've got an area for larger roasting capacity, and then they'll have a small cafe as well. So.
And will they be doing the same thing, leaving one here and one there, or are they totally moving to Waterloo?
The roasting facility is going to move entirely to Waterloo, but they've got a couple cafes.
They'll still keep those cafes.
Yeah, they'll keep the cafes where they are, is my understanding. So we're always using local ingredients like that when we can. I know in the kitchen, same deal. Like we try and get, locally baked breads or pastries whenever we're using them, or other ingredients as well. And then, what is it, October? Must have been late September, we did a collaboration with Broad Street Brewing out of Rhinebeck. Trevor came down here and we revisited a collaboration we did 2.5 years ago. It was honey basil, so it was a honey blonde ale that we then infused with basil, like really, really unique beer. We got the honey from Northeast Iowa, and then the basil was from Hoffman Produce out of Waterloo. It is a really unique beer. It might not be a beer that we sit down and have 5 or 6 of, but like the honey added a really cool like nutmeg and vanilla note to the beer, and then the basil obviously added a totally unique experience to most drinkers.
Sure.
But
yeah. So I know you guys have done collaborations with the one in Iowa City.
Back Pocket?
Back Pocket,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, we did. We did the collab with Back Pocket. That was the Backpedal was the name of that beer.
Yeah.
It was an American bock, kind of a hopped up bock. It was a really neat beer. That was a fun time. And then we brewed a blonde ale, hoppy blonde ale with the guys from Cora Pulpit Rock. They came down and we brewed a pretty awesome mosaic blonde ale that people really enjoyed for the Hops on Main beer festival that was down on Main Street.
Bob and Justin say hi. They got nothing but good things to say about you.
Well, of course, we have nothing but good things to say back to them. We love those guys.
So I was there a couple months ago. It must have been almost 2 months ago for the podcast with them, but I've been up there a couple times since and ran into them, and they are good guys. They love what they do and they make great beer and just like to have fun. I saw them in their Lederhosen outfits for Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
I didn't see your pictures up anywhere of you in Lederhosen.
Well, had I been able to get up there, I'd definitely take my Lederhosen with me. I've got them, I promise.
So have you gone abroad at all for studying beer, or are you strictly in America?
Not for the study of beer.
Just for travel?
Directly, yeah, for travel. I've got family over in Europe, and then I studied abroad in Austria for a semester, at which point I discovered some pretty cool beers.
Cool.
Yeah. There's a Belgian bar across from my dorm that was, I suppose you could say, stumbling distance.
Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that can't get much better than that. I've only been one time, and I was straight out of college, and at that time I didn't drink beer, so I was in Germany for almost a week, and I just didn't appreciate it.
Oh, no.
I kick myself all the time now.
Got to go back now, right?
Yeah, I got to go back and try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. So, the obligatory, what are you watching right now? Netflix, Hulu, is any good shows that stand out to you that you go home at night exhausted from brewing all this delicious beer for us?
Boy. Trying to get caught up on The Walking Dead right now. Our Ryan and Zach, our other brewers, they're a little bit ahead of me, and they have to filter themselves when they're talking about it around me. They just keep getting frustrated I'm not caught up. Otherwise, Game of Thrones is a really, really good show that I pretty much watched all 6 seasons in like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Waiting for season 7.
Have you read any of the books?
No, that's the next step is getting on those. Have you?
Yeah, that's where I started was with the books actually. I don't hate to be one of those people. You got to read the book, but that's one of the cases I really say, wow. I mean, the show's awesome. Yeah, I think they did a great job with it, but the books are incredible.
Even better.
Yeah,
just probably better get on with that.
They're all just like 5,000 pages long. They're ridiculous, but
makes sense.
It's one of those you can't just put down though. Each chapter is a different character, and you're like, oh my god, what happened to Arya? What happened to Ned Stark? What happened to Aerys?
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah, I've definitely got to pick those up at some point.
So, and you said Dave is the owner. He's in Chicago right now, or will be going.
No, he right at this point, Dave spends a lot of his time down in Waterloo, working on the Wonder Bread project, getting the brew house all squared away, and all the other fine details that go into finishing the project.
But you'll be heading to Chicago this week, and he going with you too then?
No, he'll still be
some of the guys here.
Still be down here. So I'll be heading to Chicago to Alter Brewing, just greater Chicago area. They also have a Sprinkman brew house, 20-barrel Sprinkman brew house, much like the one that we're going to have live here in a couple weeks. So that'll kind of give me a couple days of hands-on, checking out exactly what goes where and everything. So that should give me a little bit of good experience on, tank cleaning. Tank cleaning, should be brewing with them a couple times while I'm there. So it'll be good to see it before we've got to do it ourselves.
Have you worked with that kind of computer system before? Is it going to be very different from what you're using with your system setup now?
It'll be quite a bit different than what we're doing here in Cedar Falls. I mean, ultimately, there's a couple hundred ways it's going to get. It's all beer at the end of the day. Our system right here is fairly manual. And Waterloo will still be manual. It won't be just like a computer game. There's a little bit of automation involved, but still got to be opening valves and connecting hoses and everything, just like we do here.
Yeah.
Just making it on a bigger scale.
Right. It's a little more backbreaking work, or hopefully you'll have mills and stuff.
Yeah.
Taking every place for you.
We won't be. Yeah. A little bit more automation.
Have you found it's difficult to source materials going on forward, knowing that you're going to be brewing that much more?
I'd say some ingredients, just the nature of them, have always been a little bit harder to get than others. You see the hop industry right now is kind of in flux a little bit. One person will say this about the hop industry, the other will say this, and ultimately it comes down to the growers. There's a couple other variables involved, like what's the weather going to look like. I know last year in the Czech Republic, they weren't able to fulfill those contracts because there's just a couple really bad storms that knocked out most of the hop crop. I don't think that'll be an issue here, but we feel like we've done a pretty good job of contracting hops for the next couple years. So it's not like 2019 we're sitting here like, well, we really like Citra, which we know we really like Citra, but we don't have any Citra.
Yeah, right.
So we think we're in a pretty good spot with all that stuff right now.
Okay. I'm going to try a New England style IPA next, and I've got the ingredients sitting at home. I got to brew this weekend.
Okay.
And I'm going to go mix of Citra Equinox.
Nice.
And then I've got some Mount Hood, Nugget, and Cascade that were all homegrown.
The homegrown ones? Nice.
Throw in there too. So I've never used Equinox before, so I'm curious about that one.
Should be good. We haven't used Equinox before either. From what I've heard, it's a pretty cool hop. You know, a lot of that kind of tropical character that you get out of the cool New World hops. I think it can get a little green on you if you like do too much, like if you single hop it or something. But I can't speak to that experience.
My hops actually did terrible this year. I normally get about 5 to 6 pounds of nugget hops, fresh hops. My thing, I think I got about a pound.
Really?
And I got a little bit of Cascade, and I think my sister in Dubuque was growing some Mount Hoods for me. And she got about 3 pounds. And I got some Willamettes that I bought maybe half a pound. Though I think the Japanese beetles just decimated my crop this year.
That could be. Your plants are pretty mature, right?
Yeah, they're year 6.
Oh wow. Yeah, I just thought you'd get more on that too. I've got some at home as well that are third-year plants, and I figured it'd be a decent harvest at least. I'm not a gardening expert, but it wasn't as good as I had hoped.
You don't have to do very much to hops.
Right,
You just
right.
plant them and leave them
Keep
alone.
the beetles off them, give them a little sun. You should be in business.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed this year because they looked great. They grew up right up the trellis and looked beautiful, and check back, and all of a sudden they're all gone. It's like, oh no.
That's no good. I don't know. I feel. I mean, like I said, I'm not a gardening expert, but I've heard that with how the summer just kind of went from being really wet to really dry to really wet to really dry again, I think that probably didn't help.
I'm sure. But, yeah, it was a crazy year. I know our garden was a little weird this year too, but yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I should have. I think I'm shooting for about 6% ABV, and then
okay.
I've got 4 ounces of pellet hops and then 4 pounds of fresh hops.
Wow, nice.
So,
what's the grain bill look like?
What did I do this time? 2-row pale is the main, and then I've got some Lovabond 120, and I always throw in a little bit of wheat.
Okay.
For head, and I don't remember what else is in there. There's one other thing in there, just a little bit of. But
Nice.
So I try to do partial mash because I'm lazy, and it's a little easier. It doesn't take up the whole day, so I can do like 3 pounds of a light DME, and then then I can do about 4 to 5 pounds of grain and mash it in. And
still get out of the kitchen, keep the wife happy, right?
Yeah. I can be in and out in about 3.5 hours as opposed to 6 hours.
There you go.
Cool. What's up, guys? If we crash you guys'
Absolutely. We're being joined here by a couple of the other brewers. And
So, Tim, this is Zach, and then this is Ryan.
all right.
Nice to meet you.
Both
Nice to meet you.
big key figures in the brewing process.
That's an exaggeration.
No, it's not.
We're just lackeys.
Takes a lot to get from grain to glass. Whether it's hauling the grain bags, the 50-pound grain bags up the stairs on grain day. It's always a lot of fun, or actually making the ward, or even the bartenders. Like everybody's got a key role in making sure people get the beers made or presented as they're intended to be.
Now I've seen you and Zach both behind the bar as well as in the brew house working, so you guys got to do a little bit of everything around here.
Yeah. It's fun seeing the process from, like Austin said, everything that it takes. You carry the grain upstairs, you see the yeast when it gets shipped in, you work on the water and the water chemicals, and then you work on putting everything together, and then it's really satisfying when you get to pour that for a customer and they enjoy it. And it's like direct feedback, pretty much. So it's fun. Enjoyable eternity.
And how long have you been with SingleSpeed?
I've been here for almost 2 years.
Okay.
So started off just bartending a little bit, and then bartending almost full time, and then finally suckered my way back into the brewery. So
Caught
now,
break.
now they can't get rid of me.
That's the way to do it, though.
Yeah.
Just got to get your foot in the door.
How about you?
That's exactly what I did. Is just got my foot in the door. I started in August 29th, so I've just been over here just a little over almost 2 months now.
All right.
So just talked to Austin at Iowa Craft Beer Fest and told him I was interested, and got a job here and dove right in. They trained me really hard, but it's been a good experience, and I love it so far. And I love working with these guys.
Cool. Have either of you guys done any home brewing or anything else like this before?
I did a little over the summer, so I did a couple batches. So I had a little bit of knowledge, but I got here and it was totally different than what.
And Austin took you to school.
Yeah.
I had not done any home brewing. I'm the odd one out, the loser.
The loser, right?
Because I hadn't done any home brewing before I got here, so Austin was very patient with all of my dumb questions when I started in the brewery. What does yeast do?
Right. No, we feel like we've got a pretty good team of guys in place. You know, we've got a couple brewers joining the team in the next few weeks as we ramp up towards Waterloo. But you know, we're basically a group of really fired up about beer guys who aren't afraid of a good day's work.
Yeah. So you're going to be all of you going back and forth between the two brew houses, or haven't decided that?
We'll kind of find out. I mean, it'll be a pretty big learning curve for us in the next couple months. We're going from a 3-barrel brewery to a 3-barrel brewery and a 20-barrel facility. So much like we have in the last 4 years, we'll hopefully just keep brewing and learning and be fairly fluid in the first couple months and go from there.
So after you guys got everything rolling and you got all the beer coming out of the 20-barrel, what kind of things are you looking forward to trying over here in the 3-barrel that you haven't maybe tried yet, or something that's been in the back of your mind or notebook that you've had for a while?
Couple things. I know the first one we're going to do is we just contracted some Eldorado hops, which outside of our collab with Confluence, the Long Ride, we haven't used that yet. So we're pretty excited to see what Eldorado can do in an IPA. What else do we have on the schedule, guys? We'll brew the Berliner Weiss again, the Ward for the Wise. We'll do that one again down here. Maybe give it a unique little twist. With that beer, we've been playing around with some casks lately that have been getting some good feedback, I think.
Yeah. When Austin and Dave leave, I'm just going to start brewing crazy things. Doubling hops on IPAs and making everything sour.
Now let's avoid doing that.
No, I think it'll be fairly consistent over here. I'm looking forward to doing some special release stuff like our strawberry beer during the summertime.
Yeah.
I don't know how feasible that is on a big system or anything like that. I don't know what your plans are, but I think things like that are still going to be pretty exciting over here. Like having a bigger team of brewers come in and do fun stuff like that, where we sit down and cut 9 boxes of strawberries, 90 pounds of strawberries, and just have fun doing stuff like that over here. So
That was a really cool summer beer. And I don't know, I'm sure you, obviously Austin probably knows, but strawberries just don't come through beer that well. So you guys really had to load that up to get the flavor, and it was really nice.
There's a lot of really small strawberries in there that all need chopped up. So yeah, like Zach said, we're pretty excited to have several more sets of hands to help cut those.
I know one of the first beers I tried, not from a brewer's best, was the Extreme Brewers Kiwi Wit. So I had to cut up about 2-3 pounds of kiwis and throw that in there. And yeah, that was a pain in the butt. That was only 2 or 3 pounds. So right. Imagine doing 100 pound or going to the 20-barrel system. That'd be way crazy.
Right.
A lot of strawberries. Yeah, like doing stuff like that's a lot of fun. We did a blueberry version as well. So the strawberry blonde ale is named after Dave's oldest daughter, Anna Marie, and then she's little strawberry blonde haired, 3-year-old girl, and then the blueberry blonde ale we did was Gracie Elizabeth. That's their younger daughter. Beer was actually like purple, which is pretty cool. I mean, there's that much blueberry that went into it.
Yeah.
But people love when we switch it up with unique beers like that. I mean, obviously they still want to have all the mainstays on tap, but it's always nice when we can throw a little something different at people. Like that's what the beer drinker wants these days. It's a curveball.
Speaking of curveballs, you're gonna bring back that quad hop IPA.
The quad hop victory dance.
That was great.
That's a great question. Maybe.
Might accidentally happen when there's less oversight. Hey guys, I don't know what happened. Ryan weighed the hops. He forgot to change the scale. There's 4 times the hops in this beer now. I don't know what happened. So it might be accidentally coming. No.
Hopefully, it wouldn't be that exact beer, but our 4-year anniversary is coming up. We may try and throw something pretty cool together for that. But keep that on the down.
Yeah. Got that, so nobody say a word.
Everybody be cool.
So are you guys looking forward to trying anything else? Is there something that you want to do when Austin's not around that you just haven't been able to get away with yet?
Tread lightly.
I don't know. I've always really liked our brew times too, which is our coffee brown ale, and I would be kind of interested to see how that tastes without the coffee in it.
Just brown?
Just a brown ale. I don't know if it's too boring for most people, but I think almost anybody can make a halfway decent brown ale, but to make a really good brown ale that people enjoy drinking would be very challenging. And I don't know. I'm curious to see what our base is before we add the coffee to it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think brown ales don't get the credit they deserve. They're actually really good beers, and I mean, I know as a beer drinker, I don't go to the store going, oh, I gotta go buy a brown ale today.
Right.
But anytime I have one, I'm like, why don't I drink more of these?
Yeah, really good. Like, I'm very much enjoying it. So I don't know. That's just one of my own personal things that I think would be fun.
I think it'd be fun to brew a dark sour beer. I think I've had a few of those, the chance to have a few of those at some other breweries, and they're very interesting, very good style of a sour. I just don't think you see that very often, so I think that's something I would like to look into more and give it a try, because sours seem to be pretty popular right now. And have a dark sour would be kind of cool. I think people would like it if you could get the right recipe down.
Yeah. I don't know if I've had a dark sour. I've had like the Flanders Red and all the New Glarus ones that they do. Like Enigma and Old Bruin and stuff. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Have you guys had either of those, Enigma or Old Bruin from New Glarus?
I think I've had Bruin.
Yeah, those are just Enigma blew my mind the first time I had it.
Really?
I think I drank half of it before I decided I freaking loved it. I'm just like, I don't know what this thing is. Holy shit. Got halfway through, I'm like, oh my god, this might be the best thing I ever had.
Yeah, they make some really good beer. New Glarus.
I brought a special release rose from them if you guys want to try.
Sure.
Break it out.
Grab some glasses for it.
All right, so Austin's out of earshot. What do you guys want to do? Did you guys throw a lot of sandbags here a couple weeks ago?
Oh, don't even get me started on that. Let's just not even get started on that thing.
It was an interesting Friday. I'll say this: brewing is so much more physically intensive than I ever thought it would be. With the carrying grain that Austin mentioned earlier, the sandbagging, carrying barrels of chemicals.
Yeah, believe it or not, it's more than just 12-ounce curls all day.
Yeah.
I think my first month here, I've done just about everything you can think of. Like just getting this month, wasn't prepared for any sandbagging or anything like that. And definitely was a eye opener.
Yeah.
To physical labor.
It's all worth it.
Yeah.
We're complaining a lot, but it's good if you want to stay in shape.
Yeah.
Except for the
Except
beer
for the beer part.
It balances each other out.
Yeah.
So.
You gotta work hard so you can make quality control.
Right. So you're ready for all the cleaning? Did you have any idea what you were getting into?
I had from homebrewing experience. I knew what cleaning, the importance of it. I didn't really realize how how much there is to go within professional brewing, but it's funny thing is I have fun cleaning it. Recycling the mash tun is like soothing almost. When I clean it, it's fun. Well, some people might think it's you're cleaning something, but it's part of the job, and I like it. So you know, it's something that goes into it.
Yeah. Scrubbing the kettle is always interesting. I think I've gotten stuck in there a couple of times because you go in head first and then somebody kicks the ladder out from underneath you, or maybe it slips. But
You mean somebody would do that on purpose? I can't imagine.
I'm not naming any names, Austin, but
No.
Do that to yourself, maybe.
no, it's really like Austin said or Ryan said. It's almost relaxing. Like I would say 80% of what we do is cleaning. Like, if not, well, probably closer to 70. Like 3 or 4 out of the 5 or 6 days in a week that you have, you're cleaning things and running cycles and scrubbing. And it's good. It's kind of like a nice little break that prepares you. You're doing things right and like putting the time and effort into making that batch of beer, the next batch of beer, or making sure that ferments correctly and nothing goes wrong. And it's even more satisfying when you get to make wort and then see that whole process again all the way through. It's pretty cool.
It's a labor of love, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, you have a long week of brewing and stuff, and you come in on Friday and clean. You're just like, wow, I just kicked out some good ass beers this week, Finish up with cleaning and you're good for the week. It's a good feeling.
Zach, you want to do the honors?
I suppose.
This is a special release from the summer. Jared, my podcast partner, who bailed on us the last minute,
Come on, Jared.
got the bottle this summer for me, and
Awesome.
so he drank his already and gave us this one. So I thought it'd be a good one to bring down and share.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
This is very intense.
So this
Everybody's
is one of those.
watching.
Yeah.
Lot of pressure.
Don't spill a drop. This is one of those kind of releases where he went and stood in line.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan he's a little short here.
He's a new guy.
Oh yeah, you're short the new guy.
That's why I was worried
look
about
at
the
that.
pressure. I cracked him, but I didn't want him.
We're all taking turns sniffing our beer.
If we're quiet for a while, it's not because we're not drinking. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's pretty darn tasty. You got the bottle in front of you. I think it was a mixture of 2 different years, and then they let it sit for a year.
Yes. It says they brewed it 2012 and 2014. 2015 vintage, bottled in July of 15.
And that was just released, I think, in July this year.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited to get to that point where it's like, hey, remember that beer that we made 5 years ago? Like, it's been sitting in wood since then. Like, it's been in a barrel. Let's see what happened to it. Hopefully, if we get there.
We'll fill those fooders.
Counting on you, Austin.
Now your sour so far, that was more of a kettle sour.
Yep. Kettle sour.
Yeah. I tried one more of the farmhouse style where I did put everything in my 2-gallon mash tun for my partial mash, and I middle of summer, 100 degrees humid, put it on top of my fridge for 4 days, and then brewed it out. And
How was it?
It was actually better than I expected.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of
Cool.
expecting to have to do 5 gallons of beer, but it was pretty good.
Good. That's awesome.
Very interesting. I don't know. Be curious to see if I could ever replicate something like that again, but it's an interesting way to do it without having to sacrifice any of my equipment.
Right,
Try
right.
to sour stuff up.
Yeah. That's cool. I wonder if you could like what the chances are of getting the same like yeast strain if it's something that's like
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's probably like yeast from my dog or something running around in there. Maybe one of the cats up on the fridge by it. So one of the cats likes to lay on top of the fridge all the time. He was like, "What the hell is this bucket up here doing?" Lucky he didn't knock it off.
Now you've got to think of clever cat names for your beer.
That's one of my hardest problems right now is keeping the dogs out of them when they're or the cat likes the bubble. He'll jump on top of the bucket and the air bells, all the liquid will bubble out, and he just thinks that's hilarious. He like bats at it. Like, no, you dummy, leave it alone.
Meow or sour?
Huh?
Sour meow. I'm still thinking of cat. Sorry. I'm just gonna do that the rest of the day, man, I think. Do you ever let your dogs, have a little sip or two of?
I don't. I do have one. My young dog. He's almost 2 years. One of the first nights we were over at my in-laws for a fire, and I set my beer down, and that dog came over and drank half of it. And so he's my booze hound. He will try to go for the beer. The other dogs doesn't seem to try, but
Right.
I actually work at a vet clinic, and so I've seen the bad effects of it. So I really try not to do that.
How bad it is for them.
But yeah, I do have a little booze hound, and I got to be careful. I can't just leave a glass on my stand and walk away because he will go for it.
That's so funny.
Well, I asked Austin, are you guys watching anything cool right now? Is there a show that you guys go home after a hard day brewing that you gotta binge it or?
Ryan's our resident TV expert.
Yeah, I watch
Everything.
Yeah, pretty much spots it right up. Gotham. That's a good show.
That's a great show.
I'm really into the superhero theme stuff like that. As a kid, I loved that stuff, so I'm still into it. So Gotham, Flash, and Arrow are also really cool. And then another favorite is Hawaii Five-O. Just like that show. It's been on for a long time.
The original or the
I
remake?
like the original, but the remake's also really cool too.
Okay.
So those are just kind of a few shows that I keep up to date right now.
So you do any of the Netflix Marvel ones? Jessica Jones and
I
Luke Cage
watched Luke Cage. I'm on that right now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm about 4 or 5 episodes in on that one right now.
Yeah. There's a really cool show that just started this season called Timeless. If you're a history buff or just like any kind of action, that's a pretty cool show because like one of the episodes was we went back to the time where
No spoilers.
I don't ruin it.
assassinate Abraham Lincoln.
So did you see who Negan killed in The Walking Dead?
I told him you guys were
I
getting
did.
after me about
I
it.
did. But yeah, that's a pretty cool show if you're a history buff. It's kind of neat to see some of that stuff.
I'm kind of a lazy TV watcher. Just kind of end up watching.
Lazy comma TV.
Kind of end up watching whatever my wife's watching. Seen Revenge like 5 times through. Grey's Anatomy 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Friends. Can't tell you how many times.
Friends
I've seen
is good.
Friends is good.
Friends is good.
But I don't know. If I get the remote, I usually watch something nerdy like Good Eats or something like that.
Yeah. You gotta love Al Brown.
It's just so funny.
It's the best. That's a show they need to bring back. So
Yeah,
do it again.
And it's weird because on Netflix they only have like collections, so it's only like 10 episodes at a time or 20 episodes at a time or something like that. So once you watch it, you're kind of out of luck, but it's fun.
You watch Chopped at all?
Mm-hmm.
My wife's family, we do a Chopped family Christmas, so every year, this will be 3 years going, we get ingredients, and then we gotta come up with it. So last year I won. We had canned clams, kale, and Cheez-Its. So I made a pizza with the Cheez-Its in the crust, and then did like an Alfredo garlic sauce, and then had the kale and oysters on top, and it was actually pretty tasty.
Sounds kind of good. Yeah, I eat it. That's awesome. Yeah, Iron Chef America is another one that's on Netflix with Alton Brown in it. That one's a little cheesy sometimes.
Yeah, the American was never as good as
Yeah.
the original.
But sometimes fun to see what they do.
So when you're not brewing, what are you looking forward to do on your off time? You don't have off time anymore? How about you guys? You guys probably have some off time.
Austin bugs us to hang out all the time.
Nothing wrong with a little team bonding from time to time.
Got the river right there. Do you ever go down and go fishing?
I was,
Not as often as we probably should.
yeah. I never really, I didn't really grow up going fishing ever. My parents weren't into it. So,
I did a little bit. I did a little fishing with my grandpa when I was younger. It's fun. If you want to do something, go take a day. Just on a nice day to go and fish. It's really relaxing.
Yeah.
So, you gotta be patient. That's the one thing with fishing. If you're an impatient person, you will not like it.
Yeah.
So you gotta be patient.
So,
sorry, Austin.
drinking beer, I would say. Drinking beer, some capacity. But
So when you go to the store, what are you guys looking for right now? Or what's in your fridge at home?
Something new, I think. Like the build your own 6-packs are pretty good for me. Try something new every time. There's just so much out there and so much coming out new. It's like, it seems like every time you go to the grocery store or the liquor store or whatever, there's like, yeah, we just got this brewery and like, it's an all-natural brewery from such and such. Like, here are 4 of their beers. I don't know. I feel like if I had a new beer every day, I still probably could never try all the beer out there.
Not even close.
So like, that's fun for me, is seeing what's out there, and if I find something I really like, I'll grab a 6-pack of it. We've been drinking a lot of Sierra Nevada's Oktoberfest.
yeah, Sierra Nevada's Oktoberfest is really good. Have you tried that yet?
Not this year.
Not this year?
It's very
You
tasty.
should. You should.
How many 12-packs have you been through already?
A couple.
A couple.
A couple.
I think I helped you with it.
Or a couple of no, I don't know. Kind of like you mentioned earlier, I think I've kind of gotten to the point where it's like, it's cool to try new stuff, but at the same time, having that 6-pack or 2 you know you can always count on is nice. That was actually, we talking to Ryan down at Iowa Craft Beer Fest, was like, obviously he wants to join the team. What kind of beer do you like? Like, what's your desert island beer? That's a tough question. Like,
Yeah.
imagine you can only drink one more beer for the rest of your life. What's
don't
it
know
gonna
that I
be?
could do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I can give you a top 10 or
Yeah,
20,
maybe
but
top 10. That
One
might
is
be
pretty
more
tough.
realistic.
What's your desert island beer?
That's a loaded question.
Come on, man. You brought it up.
You go first.
Can it be a single-speed beer?
I thought it has to be, right?
Victor Danes, if I'm allowed to do that, I think you could probably survive on Victor Danes.
Be a good one to get you by, in my opinion.
Excuse me. Maybe Fat Tire. It's a good solid beer, Never not in the mood for it.
I remember years ago, Fat Tire was crazy to get in Iowa. Like when they first came, it was like, oh my God, Fat Tire.
Yeah.
Like you go to Hy-Vee and it'd be Coors, Busch, and Fat Tire's like, yes. I don't.
It's so weird.
But now Fat Tire's like when you go to a restaurant and they don't have anything else, I'm like, hey, I'll take a Fat Tire. Why not? Because it's always good.
You can always count on it.
It's a dependable beer.
Yeah.
I always try to keep at least some Dogfish Head at my house. Palo Santo is one of my favorites ever. 90 minutes, always a great one. And I have to buy some of their pumpkin ale every year because that's what got me into craft beer.
Cool.
I was out there for cousin's wedding and we stopped in for lunch. Tried the pale ale. I'm like, oh, that's pretty damn good. And pumpkin ale, I've never heard of something like that. That was probably 13, 14 years ago. And
Wow.
So it wasn't common like it is. It's not
Right.
pumpkin spice everything right like right now. Kind of just changed the way I thought beer could be, and then I just kind of dove in and became a total beer geek after that.
That's a cool start.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about like good beer. Like, I mean, you remember your first craft beer or your first pumpkin ale or IPA or whatever. Like, I can tell you exactly when and where I tried certain beer, as long as I didn't have it too big. But
The first one's usually alright to remember.
It's
The
next
years
one.
after that.
I was trying to remember that Iowa Craft Beer Fest. I mean, we were there for 4 hours in 95-degree heat and humidity, and I know I had 45 to 50 plus samples. We went back to my wife's aunt and uncle's house afterwards. Luckily, they were kind enough to take our drunk butts in. I think I lasted 2 hours. I was out by 8 o'clock that night. I was just done.
Yeah.
Sometimes too much. It's just too much.
Yeah, beer festivals are fun, but you kind of.
it's a lot of work. A lot of work.
Well, the one here in Waterloo is fun. It's a nice little size they do for Gallagher Blue Dorn every winter.
Yeah, beer stew and rum
Yeah.
too. Yep. That's kind of a unique one compared to ones that we usually do. There's usually food pairings there, and we get to see a lot of times we get to see like a lot of the bar and restaurant people who sometimes have our beer on tap, or try out different foods with some of our beers.
So, when you're looking to expand here, what are your thoughts about trying to get into new places? I mean, you're just going to hit the pavement and just walk around and say, "Hey, try my beer. It's awesome. Sell it." Or, you got relationships built up from these beer fests and other stuff that you're working with, or what do you?
Yeah, I think with the limited distribution that we've done thus far, we've already got some pretty good relationships established. But we want to keep those people happy, and then anywhere, like I mentioned earlier, anywhere with the demand, we'll within the state of Iowa, we're gonna drop some beer and then keep those people happy and make sure their taps are full.
Are you thinking? Are you starting off with strictly Iowa, or are you going to go across the border at all?
We'll be strictly Iowa for the first while.
So, Wisconsin, Illinois, they got to come over here.
What's that?
Wisconsin, Illinois have to come over here.
That's right. That's right.
Minnesota, I guess.
Fill their growlers over here. But yeah, just looking to keep taps full in Iowa and grow organically from there. Whether
Is there a market that you're like most excited to get into in Iowa that you haven't been?
I don't know if you could really pick any one market that we're more excited about than the other. Like we've had, we've been down in Des Moines a couple times with some beers. We've been down in the greater corridor area with some beers on occasion. We even poured some beer down in Davenport with Back Pocket Tap Takeover collaboration like a year and a half ago now. Really just the opportunity for us to get more beer into more people's glasses, whether they've had it before or they haven't, is really exciting. Really exciting.
So are you thinking that that's going to be something that you're going to be directly working with, or are you going to be just concentrating on the beer and let Dave take control of that and get it into places?
I think it'll be kind of a team operation from the get-go. Like we've got a fair bit of learning to do, going from 3 barrels to 20 barrels, limited distribution, quite a bit of distribution. So it'll be kind of, I mean, there may be some growth that we have to do initially, but it's more about having the right people to get the jobs done rather than the right people in the right positions. Rather than having like a title like, hey, this is what you do. If we've got 10 people who are all really fired up about the beer, really fired up about the brand, we can just kind of collectively make sure the beer's being made right and then getting to the right places. I think that's more the idea right now.
Yeah, I agree. I've been managing small business for years, and that's definitely, we do everything. I mean, you got to, and you got to put people where they're best to succeed, and if that means one day they're over here with this customer, and next day they're behind the scenes doing this, and next day they're up front, whatever it takes. And
Whatever it
I
takes.
think people get caught up on the labels too much, and this is my job title. I'm not doing anything else, and I don't think that does any good for anybody.
No, it just doesn't work.
And I think that's a good way for businesses to start out, is to have, the right people, and then have them kind of organically doing like, oh hey, like last time you did this, it went really well. Like, do you feel like doing that again?
Right.
Or like, hey, this beer that you made like tastes like this batch of X beer is just one step higher than, or like above like this batch of X beer that somebody else made. Like, maybe on those brew days, like, you should come in and lead the brew day or something. Like, I don't know. That probably won't happen too much on such a large scale, but just those situations where, you have so many good people doing so many good things that you can highlight which person is doing this thing the best. I don't know. Might be. I'm explaining that very abstractly, but just
It's
expounding.
an art, your explanation.
Just expounding on what you guys said, I guess, reiterating it. The right people.
What are you most nervous about for the next step forward?
Boy, I don't know if I'd strictly single any one thing out, being nervous or excited about. I mean, it's a big adjustment. It'll take some take a lot of learning going from point A to point B, and it'll be a marathon. It won't be a sprint. Like, we won't turn around. Like I said, coming from a guy who doesn't do any racing at all, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. Like, we've got a good team in place of people who want to kick out good beers, continue to kick out good beers, and really do whatever is necessary for that. So we feel pretty good about that in general. But just we've got a lot of learning to do, and that's kind of always been our philosophy. Whether it was batch 1 or batch 300, just brew and learn. Like, we made this really cool brown ale. How can we take it a step further? Well, let's infuse it with some sidecar Ethiopia coffee. Like, we've come a ways, I think, in 4 years. So hopefully we can kind of continue that path.
That was a polite way of saying that he's nervous about leaving Ryan and I in the brewery.
Right. Wireless cameras are being installed.
Nanny cams.
That's why you wanted them to come join us out here.
Absolutely.
So the kids can be involved. So when a teddy bear shows up in there, you'll know. It's like, wait a minute.
Ryan, have you noticed all the drones flying around outside?
I think Austin's most nervous about what is he going to do for a shift beer.
There you go. Yeah, the bar won't be ready in Waterloo. What am I going to do after work?
Yeah.
You have to bring your growler with you every day.
Right.
I'm sure you could find a couple people who wouldn't mind going over to the new brewery.
Yeah, I guess I have to look. Start looking.
You get a lot of repeat customers down here. Is there a lot of tourists with it being downtown Cedar Falls, or get a good mixture?
I'd say it's a good mixture. We see mostly repeat customers. Weekends, there's plenty of tourism. With the university, there's always parents visiting or a game. Like, I know this week, you and I's got a big football game coming up that would probably draw some travelers. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, they travel. They'll probably come in here. No, it's not a good sighting.
How has the college crowd responded to drinking beer with flavor?
I'd say at this time, college kids make a pretty small portion of our clientele up. We definitely see them, they're just not by any means the majority.
Yeah, and I think part of that is our location. Like, we're kind of down here at the end of Main Street, and like college kids, if they come down to Main Street, usually stay up, I guess, on the south end of Main Street, the upper, I guess, end of Main Street. So I think that has a lot to do with it. I think it's more of a convenience thing for most college students, but the ones we do get in here really love it and are really cool. And I think that's the biggest thing about our consumer base or our customer base is that everybody is very cool. Like, we don't get people who get too drunk too often. We don't get people who are rude or unfriendly. Like, we just, everybody who comes in is just looking for a good beer to drink and like hang out and chill. And I really like our tap room. I think it contributes a lot to that. Like, having people just come and be able to relax and enjoy the atmosphere and have a pint. And I would say maybe 70% of the people you see are regulars. Like, I haven't worked a bar shift in the last year where I haven't seen somebody come in that I know.
Right.
That has come in,
Often.
I think business travelers are another big part of our weekday crowd. I think we get a lot of traveling business people who come in. Hop from town to town traveling, and whenever I stop in a town, I always look up the closest craft brewery.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of that on the weekdays too.
You guys are doing something right in the tap room because it's always just a cool place to hang out. I know somebody had posed a few weeks ago on Iowa groups and on Facebook and said, we're looking to start a brewery in the next couple of years, and what do you look for in a tap room? And it was just really hard to put into words for them because there's just certain tap rooms you go into. Like you guys and Pulpit Rock and 515. It's just I don't know. You go in there and it's just a cool place to be. It's just a good atmosphere. That I think a lot of it has to do with the staff. I think you guys are friendly. You love what you do, and we can see that. I don't like going to a brewery where the person behind the bar doesn't know what beer they're talking about. They just want to sling your beer and move on to the next person looking for the biggest tip. It's like,
sure,
you guys care about what you do, and that's, to me, makes me want to come back. I don't know. There's definitely lots of breweries in the state that I like that I wouldn't necessarily want to go drink at. Maybe I'll just grab their beer and go home because the atmosphere is just not as cool. It's hard to put into. So that's what I told the guys. I can't tell you exactly what it is. I think these are some aspects. Some of it's probably also how we felt the first time you went in there. I think our mood affects us a lot, and memory affects us a lot. When the 515 first time I went there, it was with the family for we were there for a family weekend, and our dog was in dog show that weekend, and we were just having a good weekend. We went over there for a beer and had a flight, and it was like, cool. Everybody's chill. The bartenders knew what they were talking about. And good place. And so now I hit that place every time I go back to Des Moines. And I just come down here all the time. You guys seen both Zach and Austin here at the bar. You guys always friendly. You got a steel trap memory, Austin. You know everybody's name. What our kids are into is just ridiculous. I don't know how you do it.
I couldn't tell you either.
I super recognize it.
Yeah, but it's cool. And I go up like Pulpit Rock and Bob or Mike or Taffler, awesome, come over right away and say hi. And, that's just the kind of place I want to hang out and not just be a number or ticket, whatever. It's cool.
It's definitely that welcoming aspect is what I think of it. You just feel welcomed here.
Yeah.
That's how I felt on my first day. I just felt like a part of the team right away. That's what these guys do to you. They just make you feel good about yourself.
And they don't haze you with the short pours there.
I agree with you on everything that you said. Sometimes it's not really about how a tap room looks in appearance. It's about just how it feels when you first take your first step in the door. I've been in some tap rooms that maybe not look as nice, but the environment is cool and it feels good, and that creates a fun time. Sometimes it's not about how it feels; it's who you're drinking beer with and who you're around. is what makes it a good time.
Yeah.
Good beer brings good people. That's what I always say. That's what I've always heard.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
Beer is an experience.
Got final thoughts? Something that you want to add to what's going on here next year? You got a big year.
Yeah, we've got some pretty fun stuff coming up. We're just really excited about a lot of the opportunities in front of us. I mean, we've been making beer for almost 4 years now, and we feel like we're in a pretty good spot right now. You know, we've got some good flagship beers, some core beers. We're going to brew a lot of those. At the same time, with our Cedar Falls location still being live, like, we still get to play around. You know, so we won't get bored as brewers. Like, there's always going to be something new going on, whether it's a 3-barrel brew or a 20-barrel new pilot, or even throwing some beer into wood for a couple months and seeing what happens on the back end of it. There's a lot of really cool stuff, I think, going on, whether it's beer driven or even food driven. You know, we had another beer dinner yesterday that I think a lot of people got excited about, especially because, well, you know, in roughly 6 months, you know, we'll have a 200-seat restaurant that's live in downtown Waterloo. So there's a lot of really fun stuff going on, just everywhere around the company. Whether it's folks working, or I mean the support and energy that we've seen from the community over the last year and a half since, like, people knew about the Wonder Bread project has just been amazing. You know, there's a kind of a grassroots movement of people who did a bike ride from the Waterloo Wonder Bread location here, called it the bakery to brewery ride, and it was before we had, like, obtained possession of the building, before the city of Waterloo said that they were going to offer it to us. And I mean, the place was lined with, like, what, 100, 150 bicycles?
Yeah, it was
at
least.
think at least,
yeah.
And a lot of these were people who we saw regularly. Some of them were people who we hadn't seen before, but, like, that energy has been going for a better part of 18 months now, and it won't be too long before we can kind of reciprocate, you know, and get people's glasses full, or make sure they've got plates of hot food in front of them, or whatever it is. Like, we're pumped.
Yeah.
Pumped.
Along with what Austin said, like, there's so many exciting things happening, and, like, we're just, like, right on the cusp of the verge of all that stuff happening, and, like, all of the support from our customers and everybody who comes in and says, you know, hey man, that's a great plan here. Wow, this has been really fun. Like, I'm from out of town, or you know, I come here 5 nights a week. Like, you know, we get both of those, and everybody's really excited about it. So I guess, like, thank you to all of the people who are listening that have supported us and continue to support us, and hopefully we'll be able to, like Austin said, reciprocate.
Just totally off subject. You guys got these windows right here. We're seeing people walk by. How many times are you in here working and people start yanking on the door when you're closed?
A lot.
Yeah.
Is it hard?
Probably 2 or 3 times a day.
Sometimes hourly.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm very excited about everything you guys are doing here. I mean, I've been a big fan for a long time, and this Waterloo place is going to be great. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, we're really excited. This was fun.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having us, I guess.
No, hey, thank you for taking time out of your day and, you know, scrubbing and cleaning and brewing and making us good beer. And
It was the worst not having to do that stuff.
Nice change of pace.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Come down and share a few beers. It was a good day.
Thank
So,
you
Yeah.
for the beer.
Thanks a lot, guys. I'll get this up hopefully tonight, and
Cool.
I'm going to write a blog too on it.
Yeah.
And anything you guys ever want to add, just hit me up. You got all my info. So thanks, guys, everybody here from SingleSpeed, and we'll see you next time on Crinkletalk. Thanks for listening.